Draco X Luka. Prelude. The year is 2025, and Draco was on his computer watching his favorite anime, when he happened across an advertisement showing a picture of something called a Vocaloid. Draco has never once heard of a Vocaloid. Well, at least until now, that is. So out of curiosity he clicked the advertisement and he was amazed at what he saw and heard. So he had an idea. He was going to create a realm where only he and the chosen being could enter. This world is known as the V Realm. Chapter 1. So after many hours of blood and sweat, Draco had finally finished creating this new realm. Draco then went to his couch and took a 2-hour nap before entering the V Realm. Ugh, that was one tough portal. Go make and enter. Draco stated as he awoke in what seemed to be a mountain cave which had volcanoes next to it. This is actually a very nice place. It's nice and warm. I think I will live here for a while. Draco stated as he stood up, stretching his arms. So Draco started to unpack his bags and chose to take another nap. Chapter 2. Dawn of Day 2 in the V Realm. Draco woke up, got his white hoodie, black torn means, and combat boots on. Then he decided to take a morning's flying exercise around the vicinity, so he opened his wings and flew out of the cave and flew circles around the 2 volcanoes and his mountain about 4 times before heading into the heart of the V Realm's children, the Vocaloids. After about 20 minutes he arrived just far enough away from the city to hide his wings and tail. After doing so, Draco walked into the city with plans. These plans were to get a part-time job and buy some clothes and a mirror set. But he couldn't help but stop where he walked to notice that there was a college called the V's Music Academy. So Draco walked in and applied to get in the academy. He did get in after signing some paperwork. Chapter 3. After that, Draco left the building, not only confused on why he did that, but he still had things to do. So Draco walked into a few stores that were hiring and he chose to be a cashier at a store known as the Golden Shack. Draco then walked to the clothing store and bought himself a few uniforms and a messenger bag for the academy. After he left the store he walked a little bit further before stretching and saying, "Man, I'm exhausted, I should head home and get a day's worth of rest, cause I have to be at the academy early tomorrow." Chapter 4. Okay, that'll work. Luka said with a cheerful tone. Then let's get going, hurry up or you'll get left behind. Draco said as he was already walking through the academy gates. Luka then rushes to keep up with Draco. While Draco and Luka were walking, Luka started asking about Draco bit by bit and Draco hesitantly answered them. Draco then stopped her by asking her if she had any friends who would like to go to a street fair he saw on his way to the city and academy. Luke nodded and asks why. Draco answers while blushing a deep red blush, saying, "I was wondering if you and one other would like to go there with me tomorrow, although we'll have to be a little late because I have work in the morning." Luke replies excitedly, "That's okay, I'll see if my friend wants to go. Also, this is my house. Thanks a bunch for walking and talking with me. I'll see you tomorrow, Draco. Bye." Bye. Draco slightly smiled and waved to her as she left. "Alright, it is time for me to head home myself." So Draco took his alternate path and, as he usually does, he walks out into the shadows and flies home to eat and rest for the day. Chapter 5. It was dawn, and as usual Draco wakes up, gets his daily flying done, and heads to work. When he got to work he greeted his co-workers and went to the staff room to get his uniform on. As hours passed by, Draco's shift was over. So he once again went to the staff room and took off his uniform, then headed to the academy. On his way to the academy, Draco couldn't help but feel like he was being followed. So he stops walking and says, "I know you're following me, so come out." In a calm tone. So the stalker steps out of their hiding and to Draco's surprise it was Luka. Startled, Draco asks her, "Luka? Why are you stalking me?" Luka replied calmly, saying, "I wanted to know 2 things. 1 being where you work, 2 being when you are gonna get to the academy." Draco sighed in relief and said, "Okay, just please don't stalk me anymore, it's uncalled for." Luka smiled and laughed a bit before nodding in agreement to Draco. "Now let's get to the academy before we become late for class." Draco states as he's already headed to the academy. Hey, wait up, Speedo. Luka said in sarcasm. After the bell rang for lunch, Draco was heading back to the courtyard to eat his ham and cheese sandwich when he noticed that someone was covering his eyes, and they said, "Oh Draco, I asked my friend if she wanted to go to the fair and she said she'd be willing to go." Then they uncovered his eyes and Draco looked behind him to see Luka standing next to a cute girl with bluish-greenish pigtailed hair. The cute girl shyly said, "Hi, I'm Miku, it's nice to meet you, Draco." Draco, after swallowing another bite of his sandwich, says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Miku, I hope we can get along as well as best friends do." Chapter 6. So Draco, when is the festival starting? Luka asked Draco. Well, actually it starts up right after we get out of the academy. So basically when we leave here and finish our classes today. Draco replied. Cool. Luka stated. So after the remaining classes ended, Draco was waiting for Luka and Miku to meet with him. Draco. Sorry to keep you waiting, we had to take care of something real quick. Draco let out a brief sigh and said, "It's cool, let's go so we're not late." So the three headed to the street fair. Draco insisted to pay for some of the things they wanted and would like to play or try. Miku was zoned out by staring at a big blue teddy bear at a shooting minigame. Draco took notice of this and put his hand on her head and asked her, "Do you want me to win that for you, Miku?" Miku blushed and said innocently, "If you don't mind, please." "I don't mind at all, Miku, besides shooting is my specialty." Draco replied. So the three went up to the stand and the person at the stand said 2V coins to play big and win bigger. So Draco gave the stand person 2V coins and the guy gave Draco a cork gun and said, "Good luck, kid." Draco mumbles to himself, "I'm not a kid and this is my specialty, so I don't need luck, just watch me." So the minigame starts and Draco hit every target with each shot and they were all bullseyes. "Wow son, you hit each and every one of them perfectly, pick your prize." Draco pointed at the big blue teddy bear and the man gave it to him, then Draco gave it to Miku. Miku then hugged Draco's waist thanking him. "You're quite welcome, Miku. Luka, you want something too?" Draco said and asked. Draco took notice of Luka's gaze. She was looking at the caramel apple on a stick and frozen fruit pops. So Draco bought 3 of each and brought them to the girls. "Here you go, gals," Draco says as he hands them to the girls. After the 3 finished eating, Draco took out his wallet and noticed that he only had 4 V coins and 1 V dollar left. He took notice of this and told Luka and Miku, so they went to the best stand with the best prizes. Draco heard the pricing and it's all he had left. He paid up for 2 rounds of this shooting minigame. Of course, as expected, Draco won 2 rounds and gave the 2 prizes to both Luka and Miku. "That's it, I'm all out of money," Draco said to the girls. They nodded and headed for the exit, but not before getting a free picture taken at the free picture booth. As the 3 walked out of the gates, Miku hugged Draco for a few moments after thanking him for today. Then she went home. As Draco walked Luka to her house, she did something that Draco wasn't expecting. She kissed him for 12 seconds before pulling away and whispering the words "I love you," as well as thanking him for today. Chapter 8. Draco stood there in shock for a moment, blushing and confused, but he said unconsciously, I love you too." Draco's blush grew ever brighter as he realized what he just said. Luka waved to Draco as she went in her house. Draco waved back and rushed to his cave.